This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to another edition of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. We're glad you could join us. Last week, you may have watched Belvidere North put up the most points so far this season. They're the first team to crack 300. It's quite possible one of our two teams could put up some serious points here today as well. Let's welcome them, shall we? First, the Rockford East E-Rabs are back. E-Rabs, they took a year off, but they're looking to get back to their winning ways. They were in the Elite Eight a couple of seasons ago, and you may notice that there are 3 of them and not 4. That season, when the E-Rabs went to the Elite Eight, they regularly had 3, and I think even one game they had 2 players and still went very far. Ethan and the team, you've got some big shoes to fill, but I have full confidence in you. Ethan's the captain. Introduce us to your starting lineup.
To my farthest right, we have Aubrey. This is Gabriella, and I'm Ethan. We are the Rockford East team.
Good. See, and it was just, even in rehearsal, it went smoothly like that. Ethan, nice job. Welcome, East E-Rabs. Here to face them are the Dixon Dukes and Duchesses, led by their captain, Lillian. Dixon's 6th appearance in the bowl, and in 3 of their 6 appearances, they've advanced to the second round. Maybe this year, even farther. I can see it in your eyes, Lillian, that you would hope that that's the case. That's probably your goal. Introduce us to your starting lineup.
To my far right is Zachariah, to my right is Thomas, and to my left is Aaron, and my name is Lillian.
Welcome to the Dixon Dukes. Good luck to both of our teams. Now, these teams have never played each other before, so we are in very new territory. We'll see how this goes. We begin with our buzz-in round. Contestants, the 2 most important rules for this round: wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Is everyone ready to go? There are nods all around. Let's get into the action this week. Stephanie Kwolek discovered what molecule with liquid crystal properties that is stronger than steel, making it useful in bulletproof vests. Thomas.
Nylon.
Incorrect. East, you could take these points. Ethan.
Tungsten.
Incorrect. Kevlar. That's what's in those vests, about 5 times stronger than steel by weight. Let's get a new question. What author who wrote about an animal named Daniel Webster in the celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County created Becky Thatcher and Tom Sawyer? Lillian.
Mark Twain.
That's right. He also created Huckleberry Finn, and Dixon's first on the board this round. What particles theorized by George Zweig and Murray Gell-Mann are held together by gluons in hadrons and come in 6 flavors? Lillian.
Quarks.
Yep, including up and charm. Those are 2 of the 6 flavors. Dixon now has 20 points. What author's story, The Final Problem, describes a confrontation at Reichenbach Falls that seems to lead to the death of the detective Sherlock Holmes? Lillian.
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yes, right before the buzzer. That last clue hopefully helped about Sherlock Holmes. That is 3 in a row for Dixon. In 2007, what country's Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner became its first woman directly elected as president, representing the Justicialist Party? She is the current vice president of Argentina. Same country. New question. To grow, most arthropods must undergo what process in which they shed their old exoskeletons? Spiders, crabs, lobsters all do this. It's kind of creepy, too, if you find the aftermath. Molting. They all molt. What artist of Monument to Balzac depicted an event from the 100 Years' War in The Burghers of Calais and also sculpted The Kiss and The Thinker? Those are all done by Rodin, Auguste Rodin. In 2021, pizza toppings were used to explain what election method in New York's mayoral primary, in which voters listed up to 5 candidates in order? Lillian.
Ranked choice voting.
That is correct. Those toppings were actually used as an example by Mayor Bill de Blasio. You're up to 40 now, Dixon. What state where the Plump Jack Group was founded is governed by Kimberly Guilfoyle's ex-husband Gavin Newsom, who was the mayor of San Francisco? Thomas.
California.
Sure, that makes sense. San Francisco's in California. You got that. Those are your 10. What Roman emperor ended the crisis of the 3rd century by creating the Tetrarchy? That was Diocletian. New question. What city is home to the popular Taramaki Street, was Japan's capital before it was moved to Tokyo, and names an environmental protocol of the Thomas?
Kyoto.
Yes, of the 1990s. That protocol had to do with addressing climate change. 10 more. The gene that causes Marfan syndrome is an example of what type of gene that affects multiple distinct phenotypic traits? Thomas.
Chromosome.
Incorrect. East, you could take these 10. That was a tough science question. Pleiotropic genes are what we needed there. No points, and that's how we end the round. Dixon's off to a strong start, 60. Rockford East has yet to get on the board, but there's a lot of game left to play. Ethan and the E-Rabs. We've got our volleyball round with plenty of points available coming up after this break. We'll see you then. Welcome back. Dixon's on top right now, 60 points. Rockford East doesn't have any yet, but they will get some points in this volleyball round. I can feel it, Ethan. Before we get to the volleyball round, though, we do want to thank our judge, Tim Anderson. Professor Tim Anderson teaches at Kishwaukee College. He teaches philosophy, modern language. Also, he is a 3-day Jeopardy champion, which is really hard for him in a place like today not to shout out these answers, because he knows them all. He doesn't even need our answer key. But we want to thank Tim Anderson for being our judge today. We appreciate the help, Tim. All right, let's move on to our volleyball round. You can work together. You can work as a team, contestants, on this volleyball, but I have to hear the answer from the captains. And because of the flip, our first volleyball question is going to Ethan and the E-Rabs. Are you ready? That sounds like a band name, Ethan and the E-Rabs. All right, we'll wait for your first signal to drop very soon. But here's your first question. What general who lost an arm to friendly fire at Chancellorsville led a unit that stood its ground at Bull Run, earning him the nickname Stonewall? He was Stonewall Jackson. Stonewall Jackson, Thomas Jonathan Jackson. We're over to Dixon now for your first question of this round. An abstract computer that operates on an infinite tape was theorized by what British polymath who developed a namesake artificial intelligence test?
Alan Turing.
Yes, you got it. That is the Turing test to determine whether a computer can actually think like a human. Dixon gets the first points of the round. We're back over to East. What language, which was used to write the work Spiritual Couplets by the poet Rumi, as well as the Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam, is spoken in Iran?
No answer.
Farsi, or we would have taken Persian. Back to Dixon. Charles VI's pragmatic sanction legitimized the rule of what queen who lost Silesia to Frederick the Great?
Victoria.
The buzzer got you there. That was an incorrect answer. The buzzer still got you. That was a tough history question. Maria Theresa. Back over to Rockford East. What artist of swans reflecting elephants painted the Catalonian coast in the background of the Persistence of Memory, which depicts melting clocks? You'd recognize that painting if you saw it. Salvador Dali is the one who painted it. Back to Dixon. What author who mocked the Reformation in A Tale of a Tub satirically suggested Irish children should be eaten in his essay, A Modest Proposal?
Swift.
That's right, Jonathan Swift. You knew that very, very quickly. I don't know if that's good or bad based on that last clue. Let's move back over to Rockford East. What city near the confluence of the Saint Charles and St. Lawrence rivers is the namesake and capital of the largest province in Canada? It's where the Colorado Avalanche used to play before they moved to Denver, Quebec. They were the Quebec Nordiques there. Quebec City is what we needed, and we're back over to Dixon. What Greek letter has a lowercase version used in defining limits with epsilon and an uppercase version that represents change?
Delta.
Yep, You got that and got that very quickly. 10 more points for Dixon. Back to East. What novel in which Dr. Manette is freed from the Bastille begins, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times," and is also set in London? Maybe one of the most famous novel beginnings ever, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. And you may have noticed that buzzer a little bit longer than normal. That's because it's the end of the round. So we're halfway through the game. Dixon has 90. Rockford East still has yet to get points, but lightning round, there's a lot of them available, and the lightning round is coming up next. First, you get to play at home with the Bergstrom bonus question. We'll be right back with the answer.
Created by Stan Lee in 1962, which teenage web-slinger has battled supervillains Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Electro?
Our halftime show every weekend at the Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl involves the Bergstrom bonus question. So if you're watching at home, you already saw this. Our contestants haven't. On the line, pizza and pasta from Lino's in Rockford. Hands on your buzzers, contestants. Let me know if you know the answer to this. Created by Stan Lee in 1962, which teenage web-slinger has battled Ethan?
Spider-Man.
You got it. Supervillains Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Electro. I don't want to interrupt your applause because they are all happy for you that you won this pizza from Lino's. The latest installment in the Spideyverse, Spider-Man No Way Home, hits theaters in just a few days, actually, December 15th. We'll be back with our Nika IBEW lightning round with more points on the line. Not pizza or pasta. Stay here. All right, it's 90-0 right now, but that score does not reflect that Ethan won maybe the most important question of the day, the Bergstrom bonus question with his Spider-Man knowledge. Nice job. Enjoy the Lino's pizza. Let's move on to our Nika IBEW lightning round where there's a lot of points there. In fact, if you run one of these categories, it's worth 100 points. The three choices are, and Lillian, you get first choice because of the coin flip. The three choices of categories are alliterative names, Latin phrases, or constitutional amendments.
Alliteration, please.
You've got it. I'd like to give you extra points for being so polite, but I can't do that. Just know that I would have. Alliterative names. So given the title of a written work, identify the author with an alliterative name who wrote it. So all of your answers will be the author. I will give the work. You have 60 seconds to go through this list. Whatever they don't get to, Ethan, you could take away as far as the points go. And remember, both teams, you can pass. Alliterative names is the category. Are you ready, Lillian, for your first one? Here it comes. The Giving Tree.
Pass.
Leaves of Grass.
Pass.
The novel Ulysses.
Homer.
Incorrect. Gone with the Wind.
Pass.
The Giver.
Pass.
Robinson Crusoe.
Daniel Defoe.
That's correct. The Lightning Thief.
Rick Riordan.
That's correct. The Tin Drum.
Pass.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Pass.
The German novels Steppenwolf and Siddhartha.
Pass.
The Giving Tree.
Shel Silverstein.
That's correct. Leaves of Grass.
Pass.
Gone with the Wind.
Pass.
The Giver.
Lois Lowry.
That's correct. The Tin Drum.
Pass.
And that's the timer. Not bad. You used that strategy wisely. You passed on the ones you didn't know, and you went back to some of them, so you added 40 to your score. 4 correct. There's 6 still on the board. So, Ethan, you and the team could add to your score or get on the board at least if you know some of these. You'll only have 30 seconds to get to them. There is a lot, and I will read as quickly as I can. Are you ready for the first one? Alliterative names is a category. Given the title of a written work, identify the author with an alliterative name who wrote it. Here comes the first one. Leaves of Grass.
Pass.
The novel Ulysses.
Pass.
Gone with the Wind.
Pass.
The Tin Drum.
Pass.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Pass.
the German novels Steppenwolf and Siddhartha?
Pass.
And that's the time. 30 seconds. 30 seconds goes by fast when you've got so many to run through. So there's 6 that no one got. I will do them very quickly. Leaves of Grass was Walt Whitman. Ulysses is James Joyce. Gone with the Wind, Margaret Mitchell. The Tin Drum, Gunther Wilhelm Grass. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Ken Kesey. And those German novels are Hermann Karl Hesse. That's our first go-through on our Nika IBEW Lightning. Now, East, it's your turn to pick. So, Ethan, the 2 categories that are left are Latin phrases and constitutional amendments.
Constitutional amendments.
These are both very tough categories, right? Even without knowing the questions, they seem tough on the surface. We'll see if that's the case. Constitutional amendments is yours. Which amendment to the Constitution? I will complete that question or that sentence, and then your answer will be the number of the amendment. Same rules apply, same strategy applies, and then Lillian will have 30 seconds to get to whatever points they don't earn. Ethan, are you ready for your first one? Which amendment to the Constitution allows defendants to not just testify against themselves?
5th.
Correct. Contains the Equal Protection Clause.
Pass.
Guarantees the right to keep and bear arms.
2nd.
Correct. Guarantees the right to a speedy trial.
Pass.
Is the only one that was later repealed.
Pass.
Has free exercise and establishment clauses related to religious freedom.
Pass.
Gave women the right to vote.
Pass.
Prohibits forced peacetime quartering of soldiers in civilian homes.
Pass.
Reserves powers for the states or the people.
Pass.
Moved the presidential inauguration day to January 20th.
Pass.
Contains the Equal Protection Clause.
7th.
Incorrect, and that's the time. You've got 2 of them right. Those are tough, especially when all your answers really pertain to numbers. 2 right, you're at 20 now, and there's 8 left on the board, Lillian, for you and the team, but only 30 seconds to get to them. I'll read them as fast as I can. You ready for the first one? Here it comes. Contains the Equal Protection Clause.
Pass.
Guarantees the right to a speedy trial.
6th.
That's correct. Is the only one that was later repealed.
17th.
Incorrect. Has free exercise and establishment clauses related to religious freedom.
1st.
Correct. Gave women the right to vote.
19th.
Correct. Prohibits forced peacetime quartering of...
3rd.
Correct. Reserves powers for the states or the people.
9th.
Incorrect. Moved the presidential inauguration day to January 20th.
21st.
Incorrect. Contains the Equal Protection Clause. And that's our time. 1, 2, 3, 4 more added to your total. You're up to 170. Here are the 4 no one got. The Equal Protection Clause is part of the 14th Amendment. The only one that was later repealed is because it dealt with prohibition of alcohol was the 18th Amendment. The one that reserves powers for the states or the people is the 10th, last one on the Bill of Rights. And the one that moved the presidential inauguration day to January 20th was not the 21st, but the 20th Amendment. That's our lightning round. So East is on the board. You've got 20 points. We're moving on to our final challenge where each question is worth 20 points. So those scores could change very quickly, and we'll have that final challenge in just a minute or 2. We're back for one more round here on the Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. It's the Mercy Health Final Challenge. East got on the board in that lightning round. They're up to 20, but Dixon has a pretty commanding lead, 170. We'll see what happens with these final scores in the final challenge. It's a buzz-in contestants, but each question's worth 20 points. And again, the same 2 most important rules. Wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Here is our first question in the final challenge. Hands on your buzzers. What title is held by the monarchy's representative in former British colonies, such as Canada and New Zealand? Thomas.
Prime Minister.
Incorrect. East, you could take these 20. Ethan.
King.
Incorrect. The Governor General is the title we needed. What president who Giuseppe Zangara tried to assassinate imposed a bank holiday and signed the National Recovery Act while launching the New Deal? Ethan,
Franklin Roosevelt.
you got that. New Deal was probably a good clue, and East earns the first points of this round. In 1958, businessman Harry Winston donated what blue gemstone, which is over 45 carats? Thomas.
Sapphire.
Incorrect. I'll finish for East. To the Smithsonian Institution. Ethan.
Lapis.
Incorrect. That gemstone is known as the Hope Diamond. New question. Seoul, South Korea lies on what river which empties into the Yellow Sea near Incheon? Tough Asian geography question. The Han River. Oval BA lies beneath what structure? An anticyclonic storm approximately twice as wide as the Earth that is in the southern hemisphere of Jupiter. Thomas.
The red spot.
Judge, can we take that? Can you expand on that answer? Great red spot, that's right. The oval BA is sometimes actually called Red Junior. And Dixon, you get those 20 points. The one country, two systems policy was enacted in what region as a condition of its handover in 1997 from the United Kingdom to China? Thomas.
Hong Kong.
That is correct, and those are your 20. What European country's namesake national party is led by First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, who supports a second independence referendum? Thomas.
Scotland.
That is correct, and those are your 20. You're at 3 in a row now. A book of stories about life in the fictional town of Morgana, Mississippi, titled The Golden Apples, is by what author of Why I Live at the P.O.? Lillian.
Diogenes.
Incorrect. East, you could take these 20. Tough literature question. Eudora Welty was that author. In 1898, Congress passed the Newlands Resolution, allowing the U.S. to annex what territory 2 years later? Ethan.
Puerto Rico.
Incorrect. Dixon, these could be your 20. Lillian.
Guam.
Incorrect. Hawaii. Almost 60 years later, it became the 50th state, but it annexed it in 1900, or the U.S. annexed it in 1900. That long buzzer means the round is over. No points on that final question. Dixon didn't need them. Dixon's moving on, 230 points. Rockford East, you probably would hope for a better showing. You wanted to move on to the second round. You did put up a really good game. First of all, how many of you are seniors? Just Ethan. All right, so you need to take them under your wing, make sure that they are prepared, because then we want to see Aubrey and Gabriella next season. Can I lock you in? Those are half-hearted nods, but I will take that as a yes. Thank you for participating. Hope you enjoyed the experience. And Dixon, you're moving on to the next round. That's got to be exciting, right? You face Belvedere in our next round. And next week, if you join us, you will get to see Christian Life take on North Boone. Hope to see you then.